Rodriguez,
Here.
Dr. Cynthia Ritchie,
Here.
Shannon Merriman.
It looks like her camera's off, which she said that was going to happen because she's in transit, but her microphone might be disabled. Can you enable her microphone just in case?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Here we go.
All right. Yes, I was unable to speak. Teams is the worst. Sorry. I don't. It was not connecting.
Sure.
Yes, here.
Perfect.
Thank
So
you.
Shannon is here as well.
Yes.
Purpose of this meeting is to approve September minutes and to discuss next steps. Dr. Ritchie has a hard stop at about 25 after. She has another engagement as well, and I have a hard stop at 8:30 as I have customers arriving. So if we want to go ahead and get started, can you pull up the minutes for 9:15?
Yes. Right.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Shannon. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Cynthia. I saw your mouth saying I'll second. So thank you. All right. Any discussion on these minutes? All right. Seeing none, they are approved by general consensus. Can you bring up the next minutes?
Here we go.
Perfect. All right. These are the September 29th minutes. Motion to approve them.
So moved.
Thank you, Shannon. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any discussion?
Karen, could you scroll down the page a little bit, please?
Sure.
Right. Any discussion on them? Seeing none, they are approved by general consensus. All right. The next thing on our agenda, I believe, is
Next steps.
Next steps. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So next steps. The two of the members have been replaced on the board that were on this ad hoc. We did a pause on this ad hoc and the section 14 ad hoc so that we could kind of refocus the group. We were provided additional supports to help, and I believe we've been moving the work forward. We are going to have an excellent meeting, I suspect, based on all the planning that's going on between Dr. Ritchie, myself, Luke, and Karen for Monday, where we're having a working session to kind of reimagine educator program approval processes and regulations. We will be, as part of that, defining modernize and coming to a consensus and understanding as a group of what modernizing means and where we are in that process of modernizing. And we're hoping to have these kind of quarterly meetings with these work sessions where we can do that reimagining or revisioning. So I think that there's really good opportunities there for us to do that work. So that's kind of the next steps and where we're going, and kind of trying to pull in more of the board as part of that and provide more voice as well. Anyone want to discuss anything?
Jen, do you have a bit more of a kind of a sense of where, like, what would success look like at the end of Monday relative to the connection to visioning part of the work?
Oh, great question. Thank you for asking. I think that the success is going to be is having voice of the whole group to guide the work of the working group of the program approval. So with CPRL, the 3 EPPs, and a member from the regs group working on this program approval. And they're also going to be bringing in that professional organization voice as well, and additional EPPs that are not on the board. And then that work would come to us, and we would check in with them and find out where things are, provide additional feedback to the group on what our visions are there. What I envision is that, especially when we're done with the sunsetting regulations, that we can start moving into expanding and broadening like that visioning. We have like this eminent process of trying to get these done because it needs to go through LPCD and then SBE and then start the regulatory process before July 1st in that window. So we're trying to get as much of that done. I think what you'll see on Monday's meeting and the regulations tracker is quite a bit of it is already complete. And this program approval part is part of that work that's being done in conjunction with it. So I think that once we are, starting to lose my voice here, once we are done with all those pressing timeliness sunsetting regulations, and that we'll be able to kind of broaden what that vision work might look like. And there's also opportunities to bring that lens to those conversations. Like, how do we make these things more general? How do we make these things more modern? How do we make these regulations more flexible for the future? That I think is also part of the conversation. I don't always see visioning as separate. I think that we all kind of bring a lens of like, how do we bring this not only up to date, but I think Jen Delaney in one of the meetings did a really nice job of saying like, how do we change this particular regulation that we were working on so that it is flexible and encourages for the future, right? So I don't think it's necessarily separate. I think we're trying to do that even as part of this work right now that we're working on. So it's going to really just depend on the work of the board and the conversations, but CPRL and the working group will take the information that we generate as part of the morning session and incorporate that into the work that they are doing. And there's going to be really an opportunity for us to think about what does this look like to reimagine program approval.
Thank you. That's helpful. One question I guess I have is I don't know if there's a formal discussion about the timeline for this committee, but I wonder if there's a way to not make a decision about this committee until we see what comes out of Monday, because I still see a benefit. Like I think Monday is going to be fantastic, and I'm really excited that we're going to cohere and align around sort of a 10,000 foot view as opposed to just going right into the weeds. But I feel like that's not going to necessarily be sufficient. We'll want to keep that going in parallel with the effort to meet compliance deadlines, but never lose sight that maybe there's those additional opportunities, even in the exercise of meeting deadline requirements, that we could pull up and do something more aspirational and innovative even before the deadline. And so how to keep those things, sort of those train tracks, running in parallel is basically my hope.
Sure, right. It hasn't been dissolved. The group hasn't been dissolved. It's just on a pause currently until we can kind of get reset, get our arms around some of these big topics that we have to tackle currently. And then, I imagine that there would be a reconvening potentially for the future for the group and maybe bring in some additional folks. So it's not just the three of us.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that there's going to be opportunity for that. And again, the group hasn't been dissolved. It's just been paused for the time being. And so that we can get through the work that we have before us and that this resetting work that we're doing with Luke.
Great. That's helpful clarification. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Any other thoughts or discussions? All right. So Shannon, you are good to, I know that I had asked before, but are you still comfortable based on today's conversation of giving an update at the meeting on Monday?
Yeah, so essentially this is on pause. The section 14 group really, do you consider that on pause or it never really launched?
Well, initially we had scheduled a meeting and then we had canceled the meeting, and based on the work of the working group, it's probably going to be dissolved because the working group is doing the work of the program approval at this point. So it's likely going to be dissolved, but we'll come to a space in understanding better on Monday, because April's going to be doing a presentation as part of Monday and getting a sense of like how much they're able to get done, because they're going to have kind of a working plan that they're going to be presenting. And if there's parts that maybe that they're not able to get to because it's a heavy lift that they're doing, then maybe there's components that we do have the section 14 group do. So I want to kind of hold off on making that decision based on the work of Monday and getting a better sense of what the working group is going to be able to do.
Okay, so I don't need to speak to that. I just speak to this
No.
one and then
Yep.
you'll make that point. The one thing I just want to comment on with respect to any ongoing technical work with the Ed Prep regulations is to have a perspective in that group that is not only the Ed Prep programs, because I think they are, obviously they have a very specific perspective and self-interest, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just acknowledging that. And I think that there could be, you know, whoever it is, someone who has a different point of view and a perspective. I mean, Cynthia being a superintendent in an alliance district, like where Ed Prep, somebody who can apply gentle pressure to get Ed Prep to think in new ways. So just want to say that with respect to any work that happens on that.
Sure. And I think that we have a really nice opportunity of providing that too on Monday when they, as part of the morning presentation, and we're doing like breakout work and that kind of thing of being able to bring those different perspectives and expectations to the table as a working group. If they have less than the majority of a quorum, then they can stay kind of functioning as a working group. So currently that would be 4 people, and that right now is the 3 EPPs, and then like kind of an alternate option there. So if Kristen can't go, Cynthia can go, or if Cynthia can't go, then Kristen can go, or I can go. So just make sure there's 4 people there from the board with potential different perspectives. But we did have their work would go to regulations because Emma's handling the legal, Emma's handling regulations. So they would submit it that way to make sure if there's anything that comes out of this work doesn't have like adverse effects on other areas, or if we need legislative fixes in other areas as a result of this. So she's kind of part of that work. But we as a group have the opportunity to have these conversations. And what I can do is, as a standing item in the board meeting after the December meeting, we can add in discussion as an item, and maybe there's discussion out of the update to give feedback as well.
Great. Yeah. And I can make that point again on Monday. I just want to make sure that, because they're going to know what they know and not, and I also, I shared with you about the history of the Educator Preparation Advisory Council work years ago, EPAC.
Yes.
That was very diverse and represented a lot of Ed Prep programs, but also a lot of other stakeholders, and so much rich conversation happened there that I don't know any of the 3 current EPP represent. Some of them might have been part of that. I don't want to assume, but
Right.
I think they're mostly newer to the table and therefore don't have that history. So someone who could bring that perspective, like I just don't want things to get lost and go right to a
Sure.
more anchored vision before there's other perspective
Right.
introduced.
Yeah, and they can certainly like reach out to board members as well, like separately. So there isn't like that concern over like the extension of 4 people. So they can certainly reach out to specific people who might want to just like hear about what's happening or provide some feedback on the work individually as well. So that could be something that we bring up as part of the meeting in the morning when they do their presentation.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, and thank you for the reminder because I'm going to go and pull that email and share that document with the board as well as, well, with the board and CPRL.
The EPAC board report.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cynthia, I shared with Jen in December 2016, which is like almost 10 years ago, crazy to believe. There was a summarized report on the findings or recommendations of that EPAC group that went in front of the State Board of Education. And it's very condensed, so there's so much more behind it. And I have all that backup documentation if anyone's interested, but it gives a nice synopsis of all the issues they went through at the time that relate directly to what we're doing right now. So just didn't want to
Okay.
have that lost.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
So thank you for that reminder. So I'm going to go ahead and I will share that out. I'm not going to share it out today because they just got a material drop and I don't want to confuse anybody if that's okay. I'll share it out either, I'll probably share it out tomorrow. But I just don't want like there to be an overwhelming amount of materials and emails that come through. And yeah, if that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Any other discussion? Dr. Ritchie, I think we're going to hit your hard stop time perfectly. All right.
Yes, thank you.
I would cater a motion to adjourn. Oh, is there any public participation? My apologies.
No, there is not.
All right, thank you. I would cater a motion to
welcome.
adjourn.
So moved.
All right, that's
Second.
Shannon. All right, by general consensus, we are adjourned. Thank you all for meeting and helping us to kind of wrap up some of this 2025 stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
See
Have a
you
great day.
Monday.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.